Help support Chris and Zach Attack by liking and sharing all of our content, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all your latest video game news and updates. Hello friends, it's Chris.
Zach.
And there's Colin too.
Ah!
Oh my god!
Oh, there's a third person!
The
Welcome
fabled
to Chris
Colin.
and Zach Attack, featuring Colin, the one and only.
One and only Colin.
How you doing,
Howdy.
Colin?
I'm doing great today. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Zach,
I'm alive.
Good to hear.
Cool, cool. So we got Colin on the show because of the fact that he has a Nintendo Switch. Why don't you hold that bad boy up there? Oh, look at that. See if you gotta turn it on. It's in handheld mode.
What is that? Look at the
Sexy.
screen, and it's got the buttons.
Here, let me put it in on The Legend of Zelda so you guys can see some pretty
There
stuff.
you go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Now it's like we're playing right here.
Yeah, I just got my ass whooped, so I'm down to like 1/4 heart.
Yeah, I
blinking
see that.
red right there.
Yeah.
Blinking red. I was like, that's probably not good.
I got dominated by a Hinox, and he knocked some sense into me.
Ooh.
Oh, ooh, coming at us
Pun,
with some puns
pun
there.
definitely intended.
I love it. I love
All
it.
right, so yeah, we got you on the channel. We got you on the show finally. So tell us, how do you like the Switch?
Personally, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
It's a great system. I love the fact that you can hook it up to the TV or you can go portable with it. That was just first day I got it. I was like, well, my girlfriend's sleeping in the room. Oh wait, portable mode! And I just was sitting on the couch and I was for 3 hours literally just running around killing monsters on Breath of the Wild.
Oh man, that's awesome.
It's pretty awesome, and I definitely took about a 2.5 hour shit the other day because I forgot I was in the bathroom.
We got to make sure everything's out.
Yeah, well, obviously. I mean, I ate a meal and then I shit without even getting up again.
Yeah. You can never be too sure.
It's that convenient.
Sometimes I do that. I just sit on the toilet all day, and I don't leave because I just want to get it all out of the way. So
Yeah, I'm just like, I want to shit for the next 3 days right now.
Yeah, you just
Like
gotta,
8
gotta
hours.
clear your system a little bit.
Yeah, I bring my TV in. I bring everything in. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, just
And you never have to interrupt your video games or television show for
Exactly.
pooping.
yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
the great thing about this is that you can just take it. You can take it out of the dock there, and you just go in with it versus rearranging your TV and your console.
Exactly.
It is a
And then-
hassle.
Yeah.
And then it has this great convenient feature that I love where you can take the little side panels off,
Yeah.
the little controls,
Mhm.
and you pop them into this here control holder.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty convenient.
Yeah.
And so maybe you don't feel like having the screen right there in front of you. Maybe you want to set the screen down and play from a couple feet away. So you got that, and boom.
Oh yeah.
You really-
That's how I play on the TV, but sometimes I'll be like, when I was in school, I'm obviously paying very much attention to
Oh yeah.
class.
Obviously, yeah.
I set that down in front of my computer monitor, and I popped this bad boy down here, and I was like, I'm so doing lots of work right now. Phenomenal system.
Great for procrastinating. I like it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good thing is I did finish that class like months ago, so I was just sitting in there doing nothing.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
Good. This is a PSA. Stay in school.
Yeah, definitely stay in school.
Stay
Hashtag
in
stay in
school.
school.
Stay in school.
I love college.
So, like, how many games do you have for it?
Honestly, I only have The Legend of Zelda right now because it's so much to do. I've only beaten 2 of the Divine Beasts. I haven't even been able to get the Master Sword yet. You need 13 hearts. I've only got 10. There's so much running around in the game. PSA as well, get a horse in the beginning. You will hate life if you not.
Okay.
Definitely get a horse.
Sure.
Whoa,
Yeah, definitely.
got a ghost in the background.
Yeah, those are not real people.
Wow, ghost dog. I love it.
Ghost dog.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the case for every Switch owner right now. They're like, I only have one game, and it's Zelda, because it's like the only game to have right now. Why have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, that's not a bad thing. It's like
No.
It's gotten perfect 10s across the board from everybody.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I've heard people whine about the fact that your gear can break, but there is repairable gear in the game. And then there's also, like, for example, the Master Sword can break, but it takes, I think it's like an hour to regenerate, and then it's back to normal, and you can use it again.
Okay.
The Master Sword is fairly not weak, but it's a good level. It's a good damage weapon, but it's better against calamity targets. So anything that's been affected by Ganon, is so like Guardians, the 4 Divine Beast bosses. They are great to use the Master Sword on. You also get the Light Scale Trident, which is cool. It's a great weapon. It's rebuildable Zora Spear, which is awesome. And you just go back to the Zora domain, you pay a hefty price and your soul, and you get it back.
Yeah.
And then there's the Goron sword. I haven't broken that one yet. That thing seems impossible to break. I've used it on every.
Is that sword kind of like the from back in Ocarina of Time, like the really big sword, or?
Actually, it doesn't have sharp edges. It looks like a sword without sharp edges, and it's meant to just use the weight to just swing and destroy targets. Okay. And so one shot knocks like the biggest monsters like on their ass. It's pretty awesome. So I'll just be like, pull this thing out, and Link's like, huh! He's like, pow! And they'll sit down for a minute. Nice. Some of them jump back up and don't like me after that, but sometimes the dog thinks I'm playing with him. What can you do?
Yeah. No, it's a cute
puppy. So you'd say that you really like Legend of Zelda. You very much enjoy it.
I have to really focus when it comes to school because all I want to do is play Legend of Zelda all day long.
So tell us a little bit about the combat in the game. Like we were talking about the swords just now. Just tell us about the combat.
The combat is very similar to if you played Ocarina of Time. I didn't get to play the Twilight Princess or those ones, so I'm not familiar with those combat systems. But I like to think of it as similar to Ocarina of Time, except for the part with the bow. The bow, it does not have an auto-aim system like Ocarina of Time did. If you remembered, all you had to do is lock on with the Z trigger, and then you could shoot them over and over again. Yep. Well, the bow actually requires real focus. It's got a little crosshair, and you got to hit them. So it's not like super easy because certain enemies, like the Guardians that roam around, have a tiny little eye that you need to hit. So the bow is the only thing that requires a little bit of practice. But one weapon that is really fun for combat throwing around is the boomerang. So you actually, when you throw it in this game, you actually have to. When it comes back, Link doesn't just automatically catch it again like he used to. You have to hit A to grab the boomerang when it's mid-flight. And my favorite is because weapons, when they're thrown, if they're not used for melee, when they're thrown, they actually do critical strike. So throwing the boomerang, you're just like, if you just keep nailing them in the head and catching it, it's probably the most entertaining combat I've had because they just get back up and they're like, what the shit, half my health is gone. And you just chuck it at them again and then you catch it and you chuck it at them again. Yeah. One of the best things about the combat system that I've noticed is the you can parry attacks back at the enemy. So when the Guardian's shooting up its lasers, if you got your shield up, if you hit it at just the right moment, you can deflect it back at them, and it hits them right back in the dead center of their eye, and does a ton of damage to their health. Or if you dodge at the perfect moment, they call these the perfect dodge and the perfect deflect. If you dodge at the right moment, the game slows down when you're in midair, and you'll see the enemy like swinging their sword extra slow, and it just wants you to spam Y. And if you spam Y, Link rushes in at the perfect moment, it's just like blah 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 blah, and just knocks down their health. And then when the game time speeds back up, the enemy has no idea what happened, and it just kind of like gets knocked off the side, and they run away for a second. It's a pretty cool system. Mastering that, it's not necessarily the hardest thing, but everything attacks at a different time, so you got to understand when to jump backwards or when to dodge to the side or left or right. But it's a really cool system. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Pretty compelling like combat. Like you're like every battle, like you really got to pay attention.
Yeah,
that kind of feel.
I've got 10 hearts, and the one thing that's awesome about the game, it's kind of scary but awesome, is every few days you have what's called the blood moon in the game, and all the enemies respawn but stronger.
Okay.
So you start the game with these orange skin guys, and you can fight them once you get decent level weapons. But now I've gone through, and I've cleared tons of these camps out. And now I've got up to like this bluish black skin dudes that do not go down in one hit. And you actually have to fight them and be prepared because everything respawns slightly stronger. So it's really compelling because then you don't just get to like, oh, well, I can just run past these guys. They don't do anything to me. It's like, oh, there's 3 guys up ahead with bows, and they're going to headshot me and I'm going to die. So it actually becomes like a good game to continue to play through because the game gets harder itself.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, so the challenge difficulty isn't the same. Like
exactly.
You keep going, it kind of gets more difficult.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Tell us about the story. What do you think of the story so far?
It's beautiful. It's a great storyline. I've only touched on maybe half of the main storyline, I guess you could say. I haven't even gone to the castle to fight with Ganon yet. I've been trying to run around. What I want to do right now is I'm trying to get the Master Sword, so I'm trying to get 3 hearts. To get 1 heart, you have to defeat 4 shrines. And shrines don't necessarily take that long to defeat themselves. They're more like, go inside, solve this puzzle. And it's usually not that long of a puzzle. Mm-hmm. But sometimes there's gear inside, so you might want to spend a few more minutes trying to move things around. But getting to the shrines is usually where it's slightly harder because they're not always in the most visible spots. You can get up to the highest point and take your paraglider up and fly down to some of them, and some of them are like hidden, and some of them require you to actually defeat something beforehand. Like one of them was on this really high pillar. Basically, it was just enough to sit the shrine on top. Yeah. And so you had to get to the highest point, paraglide down to it, and you hit roughly about 2/3 of the way up, and then you have to make sure you have enough stamina to climb all the way up to get on top of the shrine. So, and that one is like, this was a test, you passed, here's an orb. That's basically, but some of them are like, you've entered now past this test. Some of them are even a test of strength where you need to defeat an enemy to move on. So,
okay.
Cool.
There are now that's like puzzles inside of puzzles. It's really fun.
Well, that's good. I
nice.
mean, it hasn't really strayed away from because the old games they used to be like a bunch of puzzle solving things in the dungeons.
Yep.
Would you say these puzzles are pretty difficult, or? Some
of them are. I had one shrine I just finished the other day, and the only hint is that look to the constellations. The stars are the key, and you had to move these orbs into certain positions, and I couldn't figure it out for like an hour and a half. I was like, what are they talking about, the constellation? And it was actually a really well-made puzzle. It was really difficult, and I could not figure. I had to look it up, like, what are they talking about? And I try to keep the mystery about the game, so I just looked up what they wanted me to do versus the actual answer. So I try to avoid spoiling too much of the game. But
gotcha.
Yeah, there's some really hard puzzles in the game, some really fun puzzles too. They're very rewarding at the end. Everything gives you a reward, so just sitting there running around, you get to do something. It's all rewarding. It's a very fun experience. The gameplay's beautiful. The storyline is amazing.
Nice.
I have no quarrels with the game at all.
Nice. So other than just the main story, is there a lot of side quests too that you got to do, or? Oh
my God, this map is. It feels to me like it's the same size as the Skyrim map in a way.
Really?
Maybe some people might contest that it's smaller. Now I haven't played Skyrim in a while, but it is a huge map. I've played the game for maybe some.
Actually,
I think it's been 24 hours now, fully into the game.
Some comparisons I've seen, the Skyrim map is actually smaller.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is actually bigger than Skyrim.
See, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, it's bigger.
There's mountainous ranges that you can't, with Skyrim, I felt like I could get everywhere on my horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
With Breath of the Wild, I can't take my horse everywhere. Certain things I see, I'm like, okay, I gotta cross this bridge, and your horse can die in Breath of the Wild, and it will never come back. Well, at least supposedly there's a shrine that you can bring it back, but I don't know if that's real or not. There's so many things that are so cool. There's so much in-depth stuff about this game, so okay. I just but I've noticed that sometimes taking my horse halfway and then me climbing up a mountain and then paragliding down the mountain to where I see I need to go is faster than just running all in this zigzag pattern all the way to where I need to get to. Sometimes it's too much.
Okay.
But, yeah,
the general map is pretty huge.
It's gigantic.
Are there side quests that you can do?
Oh, there's tons of side quests. Almost everybody you meet has a side quest, whether it's a fun side quest or not. They have the main quest, they have shrine quests, and then they have the side quests. And side quests, I haven't even explored. I think, I put 24 hours into the game, only beaten 2 of the main bosses, and only maybe explored. I think it's maybe half the map at best. And there's some parts of that because you go to the Sheikah Towers, and the towers will give you a map of the area. Okay. But you don't get. It doesn't give you where all the shrines are. The shrines you still have to locate on your own. Mm-hmm. But you get that map, and then I still haven't explored some parts of it because I'm off shrine hunting right now. So I need to find these shrines. I haven't even been over to this area, but there's so many cool things in the dark corners of the map. Like, for example, there's a monster parts vendor who will sell you the Dark Link costume if you get enough monster parts, which is pretty cool. So right now I'm like, well, do I want the Master Sword or do I want Dark Link? I don't know. So, yeah. And he also sells you, like, goblin masks and stuff and bokoblin masks so you can blend in with all the enemies, too. So they want to attack.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's pretty cool. If you remember in Ocarina of Time, if you got, like, the skull mask at nighttime, the skull bokoblins won't attack you and stuff.
Oh,
yep,
yeah, that's
yep,
right.
yep.
Yep. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Graphics. What do you think about the graphics? Is there any bugs that you've encountered, or...
Bugs on the Nintendo Switch for Breath of the Wild, no.
Not really?
Not that I've at least seen. Sometime the camera can be a little wonky, but for the most part, I'd say like 80% of the time, I hardly even notice the camera. I'll forget all about it. But when I'm in an intense battle with a huge monster, it tries to target like its eye, which is like way up there, you know? And then I'll be coming in for a sword swing, and I'll go underneath them, and then the camera will be like halfway inside of them, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and then they'll butt squash me. They'll jump up and butt squash me. I'm like, oh. So I've learned to run away from big monsters and attack them from a distance. But
I see.
Yeah.
Graphic wise, it's a beautiful. It's like cell shaded, but it's like better than what was the original? Was it Wind Waker that was majorly cell shaded with the big black outlines and everything?
Yeah.
It doesn't have like the outlines. It's almost like it doesn't have 4K graphics, but it feels like 4K graphics.
Really?
That's how good it looks. To me, at least to me, that's how good it looks. The game is beautiful. The artwork is amazing. The intricacy of just the small designs on everything is it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful game.
Nice. So like they got like the hilts of the swords are like really nicely detailed and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Seen off into the distance, you can see all the detail from far away.
Wow. So the render's pretty good then.
Yeah, the rendering is amazing.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So that could potentially be like the Switch is actually pretty powerful.
Pretty good of a system, yeah. Even actually Overwatch, Blizzard's trying to bring Overwatch over to the Switch. They're thinking about it.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then wouldn't it be cool to be like walking around just playing Overwatch with no F's given?
Yeah.
Just walking around your house like, oh crap, I gotta go to the bathroom. Well, let me just go to the bathroom. I'm still fighting you guys. You guys suck. What's that? You guys aren't portable? What noobs?
Come on.
That's cool.
I personally think Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony are going to have a lot of competition. If this actually gets good titles, they're going to have to rethink their entire strategy because it's portable and it's dirt freaking cheap, man. I got mine for, I think, like $340. And that's because people have been flooding the market, like driving the price up. I got mine pretty freaking cheap.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So, the controls in the game itself, they handle pretty good?
I think they handle wonderfully.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing that I get a little annoyed with sometimes, and that's only occasionally, is the cameras, because sometimes the camera will move and you can still control it, but you don't want it to move it this way or that way. Sometimes I want it to be further out on Link, sometimes I want it to be closer, but it doesn't really bug me to the point where I'm like, this game is terrible. Okay. I'm just like, the camera's not the greatest thing, but it's still better than a lot of games I've played where I'm just like, what the crap is this camera doing?
Yeah.
Where you can't even control it, and it's like smart moving around your character, and you're like, I can't see anything.
Gotcha.
But the controls are really smooth. Like I said, the fighting is obviously tied into the controls, and it's a really great system, especially with the dodging. That's my favorite part of the game, is the perfect dodges.
Okay.
Nice.
I think that's all. Zach, do you have anything you want to ask him or about it, or?
I know I've been reading online. It's like some people have been concerned, like in not feeling like a Zelda game. Do you think it feels like a Zelda game?
I think what people are concerned about with that is the game gives you all your tools up front. Instead of instead of taking the time where you got to play all 7 dungeons and get all those 7 pieces of gear to then go be able to solve the puzzles to get to Ganon, the game is like, hey, we've got 5 runes. Here they are. Solve the puzzles.
Oh,
okay.
Personally, to me, like I think also it has to do a lot with that the gear breaks. I think the gear breaking adds a new dimension to the game where it makes you think like, okay, well, I've only got this shield. I can't fight this guardian because if I break my shield, then I'm going to die and he's just going to be able to target me and kill me. It makes you think about your encounters. it makes you think about everything. Like, you can't just, like, okay, well, all I've got is my good weapons on me. I don't got any crap weapons to waste durability on these crappy monsters. So I'm just going to go around them real quick instead of, oh, I can fight everything because my Master Sword one-shots all the mobs.
Okay.
So I think that's what people were not necessarily upset about, but why it doesn't feel to them like a Legend of Zelda game. If you play straight through the main storyline, I feel like it'd be 100% a Legend of Zelda game. Like, you'd be like, yeah, no, that's totally it. But when you're playing all the side quests, because there's so much to do. See, if you remember Ocarina of Time, there were side quests, but they weren't they didn't have like a tracker or anything. You would just it would just be like, hey, my cuckoo's got out, and if you put them all back in his kennel, then he was like, hey, here's 100 rupees. Or like the big Goron sword quest, how that was so long. You didn't know where to go. You had to look it up, or you had to know exactly where the stuff was. So it wasn't a real side quest where you could track it and everything. I think that's what's throwing people off, is a lot of the side quests that you can actually see where to go, and people are like, oh, well, it's not a Zelda game, but it really is. If anything, it's more Zelda than the other games because you can actually choose to go down your own path in this one.
Okay, cool. I know you were saying like you don't like the camera, but like within the game, what do you think is like your least favorite feature, like gameplay wise?
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
Sorry.
That's a hard one to answer.
That's a difficult one. Traveling is semi-difficult. Like I said, you can take a horse some places, but sometimes it feels like they want you to go like all the way across the map and then come all the way back and then go all the way back. But it's not like the world's most difficult thing. It does take time, but I feel like it's more or less worth it because it's always beautiful scenery and there's always monsters to fight in between or something to do. I think the only bothersome thing to me is that weapons do break and there's not more unbreakable weapons. Like I said, it is kind of annoying because I'm like, I don't have anything good to fight this monster with, and I really want to kill this monster. I really need this item that I know he's got, or something like that. And so I wish there was like maybe like one good sword and one good shield that couldn't be broken no matter what, and those were kind of like your defaults. But then I guess if you did that, then there would be no system for breaking weapons. Maybe a repair weapon system would be really nice. I think that's been the only thing. Yeah. It's not really even a gripe or an anger or anything. It's more like I wish I could do more with my broken weapons, because once they break, it shatters and disappears out of your inventory. It's not even there. It's a broken weapon. Like, for example, the light scale trident, which is a rebuildable one, it breaks, but then you have to go all the way back to the Zora domain, and it costs like one Zora spear, a diamond, which is actually really hard to get, but if you know there's a side quest to get them, then it's not that difficult. Yeah. And then, like, a couple small things, it's not that big of a deal. And like I said, the Master Sword regenerates, so you just don't want to waste the Master Sword. You want to use it on targets that deserve it. You try to save your good weapons, your stronger, heavy-hitting weapons for bigger enemies and harder enemies. Then, I'll whip out like a small, like 6 attack damage spear for some bokoblins. Even if they're the black ones, I'll just be like, because you just attack so fast with the spear, like
So if you break the Master Sword, you can't rebuild it?
No, the Master Sword regenerates. So it regenerates. So and also, like, when you fight, it's similar to when you fight the Divine Beasts. They give you the soul inside gives you a power, like Mipha's Grace, which when you die, she instantly revives you and gives you 5 extra hearts. It takes 1 hour for that to regenerate, so you have 1 hour to not die, basically. That gets harder and harder as you go along. Yep. Same thing with the Master Sword. It'll make this like pshing sound, and the Master Sword will be like Master Sword is ready. Nice. So you can whip it back out and just break it all over again. But it does have really high durability, so it will last a while before it does break.
Okay.
So.
And then I know you said you haven't like played a ton of Zelda games. I know like we've played once together. Where would you rank it in like your Zelda favorites?
Ooh, see, I've played quite a few Zelda games, but I haven't played the last few. Like I know there was the Twilight, there was the Skyward Sword, and then there was I didn't play any of the Wii ones. That was unfortunate. But I played all the handheld ones and the classic ones, and I loved all of them. I would probably say it's number 1 personally, because it's hard to beat Ocarina of Time for me. any game, I compare any game to Ocarina of Time. Yeah, well, Ocarina of Time did this, and blah, 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 blah. Like, Legend of Zelda basically had the first open sandbox. Ocarina of Time was the first open sandbox game to me that I could think of, because you had to run everywhere and you could go anywhere.
Yeah.
You didn't have to follow the main storyline. It wasn't linear, like, hey, you traveled to this planet, now go to this planet, now go to this planet. You didn't have a choice. You can stay. So I think it just barely tops Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Those two always fight for number one. Whenever I play them, I'm like, this one's better. This one's better. So I think it actually holds a solid spot as number one because it's such a unique game to this franchise. It's so different, but so the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and then that follows into my next question is, does it deserve the praise it's currently getting?
Oh, easily.
You'd say yes.
Easily. Hands. First hour in the game, I was like, this game's fucking amazing. Oh my god. I couldn't put it down. I had to play one weekend of catch up for homework because I was like, well, I can do that on Sunday, I can do that on Monday, I can do that on Tuesday, and then I was like, ooh, I got 5 assignments to turn in. I better stop. That's how good it was. And even still, I'm like, I got an assignment to finish tonight, and I'm looking at Legend of Zelda just sitting right in front of me, and I'm like, but I could play this for a while.
Of course. So, very tempting.
Yeah, very, very tempting.
Yeah. Anything else, Zach?
No, those are my questions.
Okay. I had one about the Switch, but so if say we were talking earlier about the Switch being very competitive, would you say that it could, if because of the accessibility, if more games were on this thing, if more developers put their games on here, do you think it could surpass PlayStation or Xbox or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I fully think so. I think if they get the right titles, they could easily do that, because I know in Japan it's already passed. I believe it was Japan. It's already passed Xbox One and PS4 sales.
Oh, wow.
They've already been topping the charts in at least in Asian countries. I don't know about the US. I know they're pretty high up though.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think they do need to focus on getting the right titles in there, because if I remember correctly, one of the main reasons the Wii failed was they didn't get the good titles in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
They didn't get the fun shooters that a lot of people wanted. They didn't get the violent games because they were trying to be the family-friendly console, and it was yeah, but that's not where all the money is. That's great that they wanted to be family-friendly, and I praise them for it, but there's a lot of great titles that have a little bit of blood and gore and swearing, and I feel like if they don't push for those good titles, then it could just be another system, that kind of flopped out.
Yeah.
I think it has the potential to be an amazing system with the portability, with the single player of all things. It's a great RPG system because you don't have to just sit down in front of your TV. You can pick it up and leave. I'll literally take it when I go pick my girlfriend up from work. I'll just pop the Switch out and go sit in the car when I'm waiting for her in the driveway. So
nice.
I think it's a great system, and like I said, it could destroy the market, one being cheaper than everything else. It was so much cheaper than, $150 might not seem like a lot to some people, but when you're on a budget every month, you can't really afford a $600, $500 system. Yeah. And people were even talking about the new Project Scorpio by Microsoft, which is going to be their next Xbox, is going to be close to $600, and I'm like, if it doesn't have the portability or good titles, then the Switch is going to crush it. And I think the Switch has the opportunity to crush all of them.
We were talking about that in our last episode.
That's pretty much the points we made too. The ones you made. Yeah.
Because it's getting too expensive to play video games, and then they're like, hey, by the way, $250 price tag. And everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
and there was a big problem for a while though on eBay and Amazon where people were making fake accounts and flooding the system and saying oh, I've got a Nintendo Switch for $1,000 though. And there were some people that paid that $1,000 and then found out they were just being scammed.
Yeah, of course.
So, and they would do that for their other they'd have a different account where they actually were selling the Switch. And it was they did that so they could slowly raise the market price, and everybody would pay $400 or $500. Because if you didn't get it opening weekend, then the price was just going up, and it was getting harder. It's still selling out immediately on the day of that they get it. I called a Toys R Us in 3 different cities, Best Buys, Targets, Walmart, everybody's like, we sell out the day we get it. Like within the next like 4 hours, it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's up there.
Selling system right now too.
Yeah.
Where did you end up getting it from? Where'd you find yours?
I actually got it through Amazon Prime. Luckily enough, I was I thought I wasn't gonna find it because I had just gotten paid. I was like, I'm probably not gonna find it for another week, and I was like, this is gonna suck, dude. I really wanted to get this because I was hoping that they would have more sooner, but they didn't. They kept selling out. And one night I'm sitting there browsing on Amazon Prime, and there's one on there. I think like 320, and I was like, it had 2 left in stock, and I was like, buy it. And so I instantly bought it, and I was just like, I was sitting there waiting for the confirmation message from Amazon, like, come on, just say you came out of my account and that it's on the way. Just say it. And finally, like within like an hour, it instantly shipped out. And it was supposed to be here on the 3rd of this of April, and I got it on the 30th of March. So
nice.
Really nice. Yeah, it was like they were like, oh, this guy bought it right now. We're gonna send it out right now. I was super
nice.
sent out that night.
So you ended up paying a little bit more than market rate, obviously. Okay.
Like I said, people have been flooding the market really badly, and it's been pretty terrible.
Yeah. I hear you. I think that's all we got for you. So thanks for Colin. Thanks, we appreciate you coming on and telling us about it. I think that's all we got here for you today. So Zach and I will see you guys later. And Colin, we're gonna have you on some other time too. Like
we'll talk about some more random topics.
We're just going to get on some more random topics. How about that?
I'm the king of random. I'll do that all day.
I love it. That's great.
All right.
Well, thanks again for coming on. And then for everyone else, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching the video.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And follow us on the Twitter, ChrisAndZachAttack. Follow us on Instagram, ChrisAndZachAttack. And follow us on Twitch, SgtMajorCool,
ZachAttack 4131,
and ChrisAndZachAttack, the join community channel.
That's us.
And thanks for watching. Everything you do will help us rise to the top.